Good morning, folks. It's John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru. So next Tuesday, that'll be February 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be doing my very first presentation on maintenance therapy. If you've been to my documentation bootcamp course, you will recognize some of the slides, and approximately 1/3 of the total slide count is related to and perhaps added to from my documentation bootcamp. However, there's a lot of information about how maintenance therapy came about, why Medicare pays for it, and how to document accordingly. A lot more details about that. So anyway, I hope to encourage you, if you do maintenance therapy patients, to be on that webinar. But I wanted to also bring up a case study related to maintenance. This was timely. I got this just yesterday in my email. And this is from a place called the Center for Medicare Advocacy. If you're not already on their service listserv for getting emails, I suggest that you follow them. And the reason I say that is they keep up with current cases that relate to what's going on in your rehab world. So this just got posted over the last couple days. So there is a case in early 2020, so this is brand new. And I'm going to read this just so you get the full gist of it. The son of a Medicare beneficiary in traditional Medicare wrote the Center for Medicare Advocacy to describe his experience with the poor implementation of the JIMO settlement. The JIMO settlement was the maintenance therapy case. He stated that his father's Medicare coverage in a SNF was terminated because he had plateaued, terrible word, and was purportedly no longer making progress in skilled therapy. During the expedited appeals process, Medicare contractors stressed in advance over the phone that they would only consider medical records as evidence, and they would absolutely refuse to consider any violations of the JIMO law when they ruled on our appeal. Now, I want to say something about that. Number one, I will talk about this in my maintenance course, but you cannot only bank on documentation. Medicare has some wording about that, which I will talk about in my course. Also, they can't refuse to consider violations of the JIMO law. They can't. Okay, let's move on. So a 1-800 Medicare representative told the son that the JIMO regulations were from 2014 and they are outdated now and don't apply anymore. And that's a total baloney lie. You know, you would think if you called Medicare, their own regulators, their own people that are answering the phone would know about it, but they don't. And this is a lie. This law has not gone away. Medicare, in official statements, has made that clear, and they don't have any say in the matter because this was decided above their head. It's beyond their capability of altering. Okay, after pointing to CMS's JIMO dedicated website, the Medicare representative escalated the case to the Advanced Resolution Center. Unfortunately, the ARC also refused to discuss the SNF's violation of the JIMO settlement. So this is somebody that should know better, but didn't. Because the SNF terminated Medicare coverage, the beneficiary was responsible for the cost of any skilled care he received after the termination date, which accounted to over $10,000. The beneficiary's father asked the SNF twice to submit a demand bill to Medicare for the cost of these services, thereby setting up his father's right to file a standard appeal. 2 months later, the SNF had yet to fulfill his request. During his conversation with the ARC, he told them there was no such thing as a standard Medicare appeal or demand bill. Oh, he was told by them. So, who's the Medicare the Center for Medicare Advocacy? Sorry, guys, getting ahead of my tongue. They are a law group that specializes in Medicare law, and I've been following them for a while. They're spot on. And so they analyzed this case, and apparently they're going to represent this guy. So here are their points, and this is something that we want to pay attention to. Contrary to what the Medicare representative told the beneficiary's son, the Jimmo settlement absolutely still represents official Medicare policy. There is no end to the settlement's conclusions. I'm going to skip the rest there. Okay, point number 2. The settlement applies to all Medicare beneficiaries nationwide, regardless of whether the individual is in real traditional Medicare or a private Medicare Advantage plan. So just because you have Humana manage your Medicare doesn't mean the Jimmo decision doesn't apply. Number 3, Medicare contractors cannot simply refuse to follow the law. It is a law. Or accept relevant evidence. Federal regulations state that beneficiaries can submit evidence to be considered by Medicare contractors overseeing expedited appeals to make their decision. Additionally, the Medicare provider has the burden of proof to demonstrate that termination of coverage is the correct decision, either on the basis of medical necessity or based on other Medicare coverage plans. So it's on Medicare that they got to prove that what they did was right in terminating this patient's benefit. And so this is a completely bogus situation that this family is going through. Medicare is completely wrong, and it just goes to show that despite the Jimmo decision back in 2013, Medicare continues to not properly educate its reviewers on the Medicare case implications. And so I'm going to be talking about some of that in my course next Tuesday. So anyway, just bringing you a little information about what's going on. Don't suppose that if you do everything right with your documentation, you will be free of denials, because this still could happen. However, I'm going to show you how to combat that. And you've got groups like the Center for Medicare Advocacy that's got your back if your patient truly needs maintenance. Anyway, hope you have a great day. John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru. Take care and God bless.